Yes. Welcome. We're back with Ty. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
You've been on before, but I don't know if we were doing video then.
No, it was just the audio.
Yeah.
I was going to comment. I really love the addition of the video and everything.
Yeah. I don't know why we feel the need to do it, but it just feels like a way to reach more people. So we're like, fuck it.
Well,
And I want people to see who you are.
And we watch podcasts.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, same. And I don't know, every time, so I hate clearing my throat on the mic.
Oh,
But every time, when I see like the thumbnail drop for like the Patreon and stuff, it's just like, they're doing it video.
Hell yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like, so the first time we had you on, you did an incredible run through of a cancer journey you went through, like in your early 20s.
Yeah, like 20, and we were just saying, that was the first time we met, and that was awesome. Favorite way so far that I've ever like introduced myself to people, just throwing the mics on and talking. And this Monday that just passed was my birthday, so I just turned 30. So
Ooh,
it's
happy
like,
birthday!
shit.
I didn't
yeah,
realize.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
30.
30. We're
Best
doing this
decade.
thing.
That's I definitely feel like the 20s are a scam for sure. Everyone's just like, because you're young and you have all this energy that like that's supposed to be the best time of your life.
You're a mess.
Yeah.
You're a mess. You're a fucking mess.
You're a mess, absolute mess, and probably not the best thing probably not the best thing if you peaked in your 20s. I would say,
No,
it's like
you don't want to look back at your life and be like, "Damn, I really peaked at 25."
Yeah, and I think probably in this room we've been doing enough stuff to like avoid the midlife crisis, right?
Yeah,
try to.
I'm just elongating the midlife crisis to a whole life
You might
crisis.
just call our life a midlife crisis right now.
I mean,
but
it's possible.
but it's fun. It's not a crisis. It's a midlife celebration.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of a stupid comic panel that I have saved in my phone. I can't remember the name of the comic, but like a newspaper comic, and it's this dude. He's like very aggressively playing the drums in his living room, and his wife is yelling like, "Gary, if you're gonna have a midlife crisis, like, can you do like ayahuasca or buy a Lambo? But like, you gotta chill with the drums, Like, just let it go."
I think the crisis comes from not being true to yourself or like suppressing a part of yourself that wants to be experienced. And your crisis is like, well, I'm gonna die in this lifetime. I might as well live it up.
It's the crisis part of it is the returns on a bad investment you made in your 20s when you were confused as fuck and being grifted from every angle and trying to be enslaved by fucking corporations and hypnotized by the media. Like, the reckoning with that hopefully happens with somebody in time for them to do something about it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the way you live, the way we try to live is just like, let's always be doing something about that.
Yeah, I think we're in a battle against entropy, right? We just stare it in its face every single day.
Yep.
But I definitely do think there's that shift into your mid-20s. Like, I would definitively say before 25 and after 25, even later, your brain hopefully shifts from it shifts into delayed gratification as opposed to just like, I need this right now, can't even think about what's this going to do down the line.
Interesting.
And at some point you're like, oh, I should start planting seeds because I can see the ones growing, and these were like kind of fucked up. I kind of fucked this garden up.
Shitty seeds. It was just me and my friends making fun of each other and getting blackout drunk. These shitty seeds are now turning into being angry adults. Like, what are we doing?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting too to see how friends go through it and everything like that. And you inevitably like you lose good people along the way, and then people do really like. The interesting thing is when, maybe somebody leaves the group or something because they found their thing, and like you can never hate on that. Like, oh no, they're doing what's best for them.
That was us.
Yeah, and it's like, it's I feel myself kind of on that cusp with a lot of different things. And I don't know, I'm just really, really looking forward to my 30s.
Well, I can't imagine a crazier kind of like wrapping up of a Saturn return from what you just told me.
Yeah.
That you were in a like 3-4 year relationship. We were friends with your girlfriend, and you're like, we broke up, and then 2 weeks later my mom died, and I'm like, Ty, you're killing me right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, it was very I definitely I've been calling it the grief portal now. Whew. And I like that too because I think you felt me like approaching it. But So, and I think I definitely spoke about it too the last time I was here, but yeah, like towards the end of September, my mom passed away, and it's been it's so interesting now because the time frame of everything feels like it doesn't feel as real or as long, because I'm pretty fucking young still.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, so she got chronically ill when I was 15. It's been half my life. It's been 15 years of this, of me entering, like, first of all, just like, what the fuck am I doing with myself as I was a teenager and everything like that. Like, friends are getting blackout drunk and like partying and chasing girls and stuff like that. And I come home to just pure caretaker, making meals, teaching somebody how to walk again, helping them, all that type of stuff.
Damn.
And it's been a long, long road. And it's the thing, even worse than when I had cancer and I thought, like, I got pretty close to dying. Like this, my mom's stuff has been the biggest fear that I've always had. Like I thought I used to be grieving in advance, you know, because it would hit me at certain times.
That
like,
can happen.
Yeah, like you definitely can grieve something you haven't lost yet, but you know the inevitability of it. So, you know, I'd be walking around and, like, I'm sure, you know, people will get, like, the whole, like, the death jolt. It's just like, oh, fuck, one day I'm going to die. And then, like, with this, it's like, oh, fuck, like, she's going to die, like, 100%. And it isn't even so much about, like, the whole she's not going to be here anymore, but I definitely think there's a part of us, certain people like us, that, like, pretty obsessed with the idea of death. Like, just what the fuck is it going to be? What's on the other side of this? Literally, like, what are you going to experience and everything like that? And
deadheads.
Yeah. Straight up deadheads. Just like, can't, you know, some of us just have that bug, that consciousness bug that, like, I don't know. But my mom's relationship to death wasn't very solid. So I always felt for her. And I always hoped that, you know, it wouldn't be painful or she wouldn't feel scared or anything like that. And she's got, like, typical, like, grew up with, like, Christianity and stuff like that. So she does believe in God and an afterlife, but it's different from our, like, when you have certain direct experience and stuff like that, that kind of does
changes the way you live.
Yeah, it really, really does. It melts away certain type of fears. And, you know, I just always, and unfortunately, like, a lot of people, it just doesn't go the way that you hope it will go, but, like, she died in a hospital. So it's just, you know, who knows? I don't know. You know what I mean? Who knows? But I will say, my final, like, the last time I saw her, it was okay because it actually really, really, really interesting. But the thing that's been kicking me in the face ever since then, fucking Ram Dass, be here now.
Yeah.
Like, just be here now. And to the level of attention that we could pay, there's always more, you know? So those last few weeks in the hospital, like, my mom was dying. She was actively dying. And I didn't see it somehow.
Yeah.
For some reason, my brain was still like, all right, you know, this is a big one, but, you know, we're going to take her home. Like, I'll be there, like, you know, just like feed her, get her back up to, you know, normal again.
Right. I went through that with my sister. It just doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem like that could happen.
Yeah. And now that I play things back, like those last few times that I was talking to her, you know, like the conversations weren't making sense at all. You know, talking about people that I've never heard in my life before, things like that. She still knew I was there and stuff. And now I'm just like, oh, dude, like, she was totally going in between. Like, it was happening.
Yeah. It was the transition.
Yeah. And it kind of, I don't feel, I've been thinking about the word regret a lot, you know, like I know she wouldn't want me to have, like, some psychological baggage on myself that would, like, stop me from living how I should and doing what I should. And as, you know, it sucks and everything, but she left me with a lot of love.
Yeah.
But I really am just like, how the fuck can you tell that this was happening right now? Like, it definitely was.
It's a self-protection thing, must be.
It had to be. It had to be, because, like, for the people that are so obsessed with this and everything like that, like I pray that I have as lucid as a death as possible.
Yeah.
You know, like really trying to aim for a good death, and yet I couldn't see, and you know, the Tibetan Book of the Dead stuff, just everything, like there are the stages.
Yeah.
This is why you're with the dying and how to be with the dying and stuff. And completely over my head with this one. And it's just like, damn, well, I'm not going to get that chance again. You know what I mean? I think about my dad, and it's just like, it's fucked up, but I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll definitely be sharp for that one. You know what I mean? Like I'll definitely, or anybody else, you know, I won't deny it. And I'll probably lean into it a little bit more, that the possibility that this is the way it might go. But really, the cycles, the stages afterwards, dealing with like life insurance stuff and funeral shit.
Yeah, all the stuff in the immediate aftermath. I'm actually weirdly grateful for with my family and what we went through, because it gave us something to sink our teeth into right away. Yeah. Because the emptiness would have killed us.
It is weird where it's just like, okay, like now there's stuff to do. Yeah. You know, it really is weird. And I just remember, you know, speaking to some of my older relatives, like a older aunt of mine, talking about it, and she's just like, oh, well, you know, you guys got to, you know, get the arrangements together. The sooner you do it, the cheaper it'll be. And I'm like, money? Like, what? What are you talking about? And then just having to go through that, like going through a life insurance policy and just seeing and how much money and all this stuff and figuring all those things out. But I feel weird that like it has to happen. Yeah. But there definitely should be like a mandatory, like grieving, like just, can I get my own shit together first?
We don't have that here.
Yeah, we do not.
Every other culture has rites of passage.
Exactly. Rites of passage. That's a really good way to put it, because I've been expressing that idea to the people that allow me the space to talk about the heavy shit, because it's just, we do it so weird here. Like business first and then figure all that stuff out.
We raw dog it.
Yeah.
And then we say there's a pill to deal with the symptoms of you not dealing with your shit or knowing how to go through rites of passage or having the space to. Yeah,
and having the space to is really, really important. I feel like, and also it's just that death thing, like everybody's going to go through it. We all, like, it sucks, but what I went through is not unique. It's signed in the fucking contract when we get here, you know what I mean? But you still feel it, and yet everybody ignores it, or they don't want to talk about it, or it's just like, yo, that's heavy stuff, man.
Yeah.
But what it's changed for me now is, like, with my friends who haven't experienced that type of loss, it's like, hey, like, you know, I don't know how you feel about it, you know what I mean? But I'll be there for you when it happens. And because we don't have those rite of passages in this culture, and one of my buddies, I have to give it to him, when we were having this conversation, he kind of put it into these terms that people just walk around with their own private cultures towards death, and that's crazy.
Yeah, it really
is.
That's
really crazy.
It is.
That we're
to just individualize that.
Exactly.
Something we're all gonna face.
We're all just we're just walking around, and it's like, I have no idea how these people feel about, like, life, death, whatever. And then you can see it. The people who do fucked up, really evil things in the world, obviously, part of their perspective on it has to be warped. Yeah. You know? And you just have no idea what you'll go through. And I remember for years, I used to tell my girlfriend at the time, like, I have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen to me when this happens. You know what I mean? Like, just
stand by, but stand down.
Exactly. Stand by, but stand down. You know. And I did when I got, like, for this last one, when you know, she went to the hospital and I knew it was pretty bad. Like, at least, like, I told my roommates, who are some of my best friends, like, hey, like, this thing is happening. Be on standby.
Yeah.
I'm opening up to you right now to let you know, just, like, be on standby, because I might need you to hold me down. Yeah. Like, you know, I don't think I'll ever, like, crash out crazy, but you know, this will be a fucking big one.
Yeah, I need you guys to be my straitjacket.
Yeah,
as a community.
Yeah, please, like, just let it, you know. And I promise you, I got your back when it's your turn. But yeah, going through that whole process, it's weird too, I guess, with some of the rite of passage stuff. Like, once getting all that out the way, like, I don't know if I've ever experienced, and I don't know if I ever will experience, another honor higher than holding and walking my mom's casket. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
I'm with you on that.
I don't know what is more...
And it would never get on your radar as something that would be a high honor until you do it. Until you give a eulogy. until you sit with a person in their last moment on earth and get filled with their spirit, and they somehow guide you through all the grief. Because that's what I feel from you. I haven't seen you since then, and I wasn't there for you in the immediate aftermath, simply because I think you changed your Twitter name and your profile name.
Yeah.
So and Twitter changed its algorithm. So I was just getting random tweets, and one day I just see what I think is a random tweet of someone saying the worst part of losing my mom is, like, I'm young. I have so much of my life ahead, and my heart was breaking. I'm like, who is this person? I'm like, Ty? And that's what I reached out to you right away. I was like, dude, I'm here for you. Please come upstate. Like, oh my God. And just that sentiment, like, it was so perfectly expressed. That's how it felt when my sister died. It's like, I'm so young. I have so much time without her.
That's the hardest. Yeah, I think that's how I'd said it. It's just like, well, like, her life now seems way too short, but living the rest of my life without her it's literally until the end. You know what I mean? It's the longest thing I'll ever have to do.
But you're not without her.
No,
and this is what I'm feeling, having not been around you. Like, she is part of you now. It's helping you through this other really hard, sticky thing you're going through. And like, you have a grace about you that I'm like, oh shit, I already knew you were a pretty graceful guy, but like, you're firing on all cylinders now. And I always feel that way in the immediate aftermath of someone losing their parents. I'm like, something changed here. And I'm like, that's when I start believing in, like, they entered your consciousness. They're not bound by their body anymore.
No,
you
not at all.
Get to be them. They get to be with you. And it's a beautiful thing. We talked about, like, so many epic, like, sports moments or highlights of someone's career, a great player, are on the day their parents died.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens.
It's insane. You could go through a list of it, and it'll blow your mind. And you're like, what accounts for that? Even players that didn't know their fucking
they find out afterwards.
They find out afterwards, and they're like, oh, that explains 56 points for the first time in my whole career in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell was that?
You got carried by the wings.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, man, I feel for you. I really do. And obviously we're here for you. And like, the least we could offer is, like, get out of the city.
Yeah.
We were talking, like, I think you're starting to get to the age now where you're like, what is this thing doing to me? Yeah. In addition to the things life's going to throw at me.
Yeah, no,
life,
it is.
Death.
It's a fucking machine that doesn't give you any of the space or
it's cold and indifferent towards you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's funny because you touched on certain points that's what I was thinking about. It's weird. All of these cliches ring true. Like, absolutely crazy. You know what I mean? When and they always say, like, oh, when they die, they become a part of you, all this type of stuff. I mean, it was a spiritual experience. Right, the last time I saw my mom, that afternoon that I spent with her, like, I gave her some water, I cleaned her up a little bit, I massaged her hands, her feet, things like that, and it was just like, I gave her a kiss and I told her I'll see you again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I never got to see her again, but I'm okay with that last moment. I really, really am.
That was the last thing I said to my sister too, when she was like awake and alive.
Yeah,
I kissed her and I said, we'll see each other again.
Definitely will. Like, there's no doubt. And so then the next time I saw her was the funeral, and it was so crazy because when I saw her body resting, even that silly thing, like, they did a good job with her. Like,
I know.
It was so weird. Like
these little things that happen in the immediate aftermath like that. You're like, oh, okay, actually, yeah, you guys did right by her.
Yeah,
Thanks
like,
for
she
presenting
looked like she was at peace, like, for
Mm.
real. And when I looked at her, all that struggle, like, half of my life of fighting this thing in my consciousness, and it really is the thing that has propelled my self-development more than anything, is battling with this. I literally felt it melt in me. Like, I looked at her, saw her at rest, and physically something in me dissolved.
Yeah.
And I relaxed for the first time in 15 years. Like, I was also at peace, long-term peace. Like, I got to go through the grief portal, but it was like, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's all okay. And then it was just the love pouring out like crazy. Listening to eulogy, giving the eulogy. I just remember like even saying my words. I had something written down. Those weren't the things that I ended up saying.
Same
you know what
here,
I mean?
man.
It was just, yeah, it wasn't, they weren't the things that I ended up saying. And it just hearing all the other people talk about my mom, it's like, yeah, damn, like that's my mom. But also a lot of it I heard, I was like, damn, like that's me.
Yeah.
Like this is where I got this from. And one of the biggest shifts for me were, going back to like people like us, like we like to test our limits, right? We kind of like to see how the capacity for what we can handle and also what we can integrate and everything like that. So, I'm one of those people that will do the crazy thing so that I survived it. And I'm just like, all right, like I've leveled up. Like, what I mean? My threshold is whatever. I'm consciously trying to make myself more resilient and stronger. And something that I realized with this was that the strength was inherent. Like it's hers. She was the strongest woman I ever knew. And there's like part of the thing when I said like, she had kidney failure. So she would go to dialysis 3 times a week. Oof. She called it her spa days. Like that's the type of lady that my mom was. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
how you are.
And there it is. Like that's what it was. Like, oh, I didn't have to keep trying to like stretch myself as much as possible so I can cope with these things. Like it's already there.
Yeah.
It was there before I was conscious of it. And all the things, it's funny, like I used to, in a playful way, like blame her for my path because, not with any of the self-development stuff, but just like job stuff and career stuff. Like she always used to put into my head, like the goal for yourself, like the goal is to work for yourself. You know what I mean? Do your own thing, build something for yourself.
Yeah.
Always injected that in me. Always wanted me to be a good moral person. And it's just like that's why I can't jive with certain things. Like this is really like, she was putting that stuff into me. It wasn't just like I'm trying to talk to you. Like she was trying to put that in my psyche as I grew up.
And it became so inherent to who you are that it's like muscle testing. Your reaction to things that don't vibe with it, it's just like
immediate. Some might call it commitment issues because of the Sag thing, but it's just like it's
discernment.
It's fucking discernment.
It's like a very refined level of discernment that maybe people couldn't understand unless you've been there.
Yeah, it's just all these things that she left me with, the amount of love that I felt, speaking of discernment, like she taught me how to suss out the good people versus the temporary people and things like that, and like I've been lucky to I have really long-term friends. Like my closest circle are my high school buddies. We're all together.
Damn. Was that all the boys at the Dead show?
Yeah, some of them, yeah. And
no fucking way.
Yeah, exactly.
You've known them that long?
That long. Some of them first day freshman year of high school type of relationships, and we're still I've lived with one of them now. Like it's always been that way. And yeah, just being able to like just open up to people, learning what a friend really is. That's just all stuff, man, that all down the line she instilled in me. And I think it's why I have a pretty good head on my shoulders. So I would say she completed her job as a parent. And I wish that, and I always told her that this is the time, like, relax, like, we're good. You know what I mean? Like, we're good. You got us. You did a good job, you know? And I definitely feel that way. So although I still get moments where I'm like, damn, I wish I could talk to my mom about this. She left me with enough for a lifetime, for sure. And it's going to be interesting. It really is. Sometimes I still do get that, like, I'm not through the grief portal fully. So I'll get those random moments where I'm like, damn, she's dead. Like, it's weird. But it just feels like, like, I just can't talk to her again. But, like, she still, the reason I forget sometimes, it feels like I forget that she's dead, is because I still feel her, and it just hasn't gone away yet. And then I just get that, like, can't talk to her, but it'll be okay. Like,
it'll be okay. It's just, it's just sad.
Yeah. It is. And it's and that's okay. And it's so funny, the amount of people who are like, oh man, like, you seem like you're doing really well. Like, you're taking, you're really handling it, better than like full grown ass adults that I know and whatnot. but it's okay to like not be okay and stuff. I was like, oh, I know, believe me, like I'm not okay. But I'm really trying to like think about this and go through this. But especially when people will use the word wise about it, they're like, oh, you seem like like you feel very wise, or just the things that you're saying and stuff. But the thing that people never really talk about is the price of wisdom. That's really like there are levels to reaching a perceived level of awareness. It's like, do I wish? Would I change anything? No. But like, there's a lot of fucked up reasons why I'm as level as I am. You know what I mean? And even to me, I'm just like this. I don't feel very level. I definitely have been going through it.
Well, that's what higher dimensions feel like. I don't think there's any ground to stand on up there. So,
no.
you're like, I don't know how I found myself here, but it feels very shaky. But I mean, you can also get down with that.
Yeah, it's and once again, like it's not a unique experience at all. Like everybody is gonna get a turn if they haven't already in some way. And because of that too, one of the most interesting phenomena I've been experiencing, when it was fresh really, were the condolences from people who haven't lost that closely and the people who have. And it's very funny because the reactions are very similar, but the energy is so different. Yeah. And like the people who haven't lost, it's so funny that it'll come out of someone's mouth and they don't even realize it, but they're just like, oh my God, like I couldn't imagine. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? And I can see them grasping because it's like, oh no, you can't imagine. No. I know you can't, all good intentions. Thank you. Like, I'm not like, oh, this, it doesn't weigh any more, any less, but there's a difference between the person who is so baffled and they're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I wish there's something I could do for you, versus the people who have lost it. You can almost see your pain, recognize their pain. And it's a much different energy when it's like, I'm sorry, I wish there was something I could do for you. Because they already know there is nothing, know, but those sorries feel so different. And there is a much more interesting connection with the people who have lost very, very closely. And those are the people that, over this little grieving period that I'm going through, like, those are the people who opened up the most. Because it's like, oh, damn, dude, like, honestly, I wish when I went through what I went through, I had somebody to like talk about this with. When I had to figure out like the work thing and whatnot, I didn't go to work for a month after. I had to speak to like my HR lady, and we didn't even talk about work. Like we just ended up having a conversation. She had lost a parent, you know, and she went back to work like 3 days later. Fucking lost her shit. You know what I mean? All these things, and
it's not the move.
Not the move.
But what else can you do? For a lot of people, like most people can't take a month off work.
Most people don't even. I would even say most people don't make space for grief. They don't even know. They don't, and that's why it's like, hey, it sucks that I know this already, but grief is a force. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't know when it'll appear. You don't know how it'll appear. All you can do is make space for it to unfold. Like you cannot try to like. And some people, that is their coping mechanism is let me just bury myself in my work, or let me go get distracted, or let me like whatever. But I knew like with the big one, I gotta take as much time. Like when me and my girlfriend, when we broke up recently and we went through the thing, like for me, because it was just like, oh fuck, like this sucks, whatever. Did a bunch of drugs with my friends for like 3 days, 3 nights straight. I'm like, all right, whatever. Okay, I had to just get that shit out of my system.
That was your rebound.
Yeah, right. Right. It was like, yeah, substances, not people. This one, I was like, I don't want to do anything
smart
at all. Let me just
feel this.
Yeah, let me just feel this. I didn't listen to music for like 3 weeks.
Dude, this is crazy that you're saying this because it's so similar to what I went through. I wasn't really watching stuff.
Nothing. Yeah, I was just, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm just bogged down by my thoughts, but it was just my pure conscissness only.
Yes.
Like whatever is going on right now, that's the only thing that needs to be going on right now. And it felt very natural. It's like I didn't even realize like, oh, I don't want to listen to anything. Like it just was like day by day by day. And then I'm like, oh, Yeah, I haven't like not a podcast, not a single 2-minute song. Like I have put nothing in my ears or I've like watched any sort of TV, nothing like that.
That's a nice tolerance break. You come back to the dead and you're like, what the fuck?
And it's way more. It's even heavier now for me, you
Oh
know.
my
and that's
God.
like
Yeah, it's imbued with all this stuff that was sitting there all this time, and now like you've gone through the death grief portal, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, like
this is richer than I thought.
Yeah, really so much so. And along the way, I feel like I guess I was getting prepared maybe without even knowing it. So like going to San Francisco for the final tour, like that, like thank God I did that. Like
You're pre-grieving. You're going to something that's ending.
Yeah.
A thing you love is ending.
Exactly.
And it's like, this is it, y'all.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why it's like
Micro death.
This is going on. What's a little trip across the country? You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to miss this money versus the memories. And we're deadheads. We have that bug where like I can listen back to the show now and I feel every single emotion. Yeah. Definitely because of the grief portal, everything's like a lot heavier and more meaningful. But like, yeah, I could put on that fucking I Know You Rider and just like when you know, I wish it was a headlight on a northbound train. Like when that just goes off, tears. You know not sadness or anything like that, but just like Terrapin Station.
Forget
tears.
about it. Can't make it through that.
One. At all. And that's why I'll see Bobby until he fucking croaks too, dude. Like that's and that's why, you know, thanks for letting me crash for the Bob Weir shows up here.
Yeah, Bobby and the Wolf Bros. Incredible.
So
highly
awesome.
recommend.
Yeah,
they've hit their stride as a band.
Yeah, it's crazy for 80, 81. He's seen and experienced more things than most people alive put together
His
right now.
His acid intake puts ours to shame.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And at this ripe old age, looking towards the end of the road, let me play fucking jazz.
Yeah.
Let me get loose and jazzy and just turn this into a remix of what we've been doing for decades.
I think Jerry would be so proud of that iteration of these songs. That's what I think when I see Bobby and the Wolf Bros. I'm like, oh, Jerry's shining down on us right now. He loves this.
I definitely feel so too. And it's I was kind of laughing. I made a joke to my friend like, do you know, because I kind of agree with you, like the Dead and Company stuff is very, especially these last few years and this last year with putting Jay Lane in on the drums. It's just the energy. It's very like, I could show this to somebody younger and they're like, oh yeah, like I got this. So I was like, this is the Dead. I was like, yeah, no, trust me, like this might be a good little intro.
Yeah.
But with Bobby and the Wolf Bros, it's like, damn, like, do you know how much of a legend you have to be for John Mayer to just be a stand-in?
I know.
Like he was really just a stand-in, dude. Like he ripped. That stuff was awesome.
Yeah.
But that
was Bobby's band.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, totally Bobby's band. I really don't understand the hate for it, where people are like, "Oh, you know, he's no Garcia." Like, of course,
no one is.
No shit. Yeah. This is not what that is.
He didn't watch his father drown at 6 years old, and lose his finger, and fucking get in a horrible car accident.
Yeah, at all. Yeah,
he was getting laid in Hollywood. Of course, he just plays guitar.
He just plays guitar. He is just a great guitarist.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
maybe really that's where the hate comes from, though, because sometimes I can not be a little tough and
just like Jerry went through it. Jerry needed heroin. You've never even tried acid, John Mayer. Like, let's get real, but the guy has provided some of the most transcendent
nights. Oh, we'll be
at
the Sphere. Are we going to the Sphere together?
We already talked about it.
Yeah, we're good. So the buddies that I went with my Big Dad Head buddy that I've been going to these trips with, just last night it came up, like, the rumors, and then, like, the New York Post article came out that, like, it's being mentioned that they might do that. Yeah. So,
sweet.
So it's looking like
it's on.
We're going to Vegas, guys.
Come on. Let's
get
what
a
weird place.
Yeah,
we should get a house. Like, do it right, because Vegas will be a nightmare if we're all just like, I'm staying at the circus. I'm staying over at like we don't want to stay in casinos.
No, get a solid group of people, enough people. It'll probably be more cost effective, and we just like do it proper.
Uber X over there.
Yeah. Oh my God, that'll be probably But just racking up these sort of really awesome experiences that have this inherent community and everything like that. It's been helping with the grieving. Just all of this stuff just comes together, and even like, I know it sounds crazy, like the strongest relationship I ever had ended, and then within 2 to 3 weeks, like, my mom passed away, and it just felt like maybe these losses were just like preparing me for certain, just the big one and stuff. But the thing that's been weighing on my mind is kind of trying to grapple with that whole, the hero's journey and everything like that.
Yeah, this is interesting.
I kind of like disagree with it, or I feel like that's not really the move or the way to think about things. Just because, especially when dealing with death, that's a whole being that is no longer on this plane and going through like the big experience and stuff. And even mini deaths, right? Like the loss of a relationship and whatever. I don't think it's collateral for you becoming the person you're meant to be, like in a good, like an amazing way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that other people had to be a part of something negative for you to become like who you should be and the hero, right? So I've been kind of thinking something that I've been having to grapple with really is like the caretaker archetype and examining all these things because, I've been taking care of my mom for, half my life. And that's just what I know how to do. In my last relationship, it was very big as well. You know what I mean? Like I'm very, very big caretaker, anticipate your needs, and just do things to help you succeed in your own right, but like learn how to take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it is. Like it's not just me doing these things for you, but also like teaching you and stuff so that like when I'm not here anymore, you'll be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You won't need me for that. But now it's like I'm not taking care of anybody other than myself.
Yeah.
For the first time, I would say in my adult life. Yeah, it's really crazy. And even going through like the breakup, it's just like I don't want to say thankfully, it's not my first breakup, but you get used to the cycles and stuff. So it's like the loss sucks, but it's really like it's gonna be hard to eat for the next couple of weeks. Sleep is gonna suck. You're gonna wake up. Your eyes are open. You don't even know what your name is yet, but you already feel the pit in your stomach. You're like,
it's like you tweeted every day during the quarantine. Another day.
Yeah, just
every morning I would open up Twitter. Ty's another day. No, that's how it feels. It feels like, ooh, it's a liminal space almost. Like you're just kind of floating.
Yeah, just floating, and then like just so having that thing, but grief in general is like that's what I've been thinking about too. Like, what's the true opposite of love? And I think it's grief. Like I wouldn't put it as like what's the like I'm trying to put this in a good way. Like not the opposite reaction, you know what I mean? So I don't think it's love hate.
Yeah.
But I think directionally and the essence of it, the loss of that love and it not having to go somewhere, like it not having a destination. Yeah, it's the other half of that is grief.
Yeah. It's like the everything love versus the nothingness. Or
exactly.
I don't like thinking about that.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, and for me, and you'll go through this in other ways, but for me, like the dramatic grieving of losing my sister happened like 7 years later with a breakup with somebody that Cass and I had dated for 8 months. But just the sadness of losing somebody and they're still here and they won't talk to me, it just had me grieve every loss I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Every past relationship. And I was like really just like wrought with emotion. Like I couldn't even pinpoint what kind of emotion, just like you're saying, very emotional. My sleep sucked. Waking up in like feeling like I already drank 10 cups of coffee. Like you ever have that? Like, like you're grieving so hard that like you're manic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And it was very strange to me and I didn't know what was going on until I pinpointed. I'm like, I'm grieving shit that I didn't deal with when it happened. Or this is like the residual, the extra shit that I just really didn't fully wrap my head around. And now I'm a psychedelic person. I have more perspective and fucking sucks my sister died. God damn it. She should be living, man. I should be learning from her. She would be a better filmmaker than I'd ever, like, really just like, fuck this. And that I didn't have at first.
Yeah.
8 years later, random breakup, just like triggered it.
Don't tell him that.
No,
I'm
saying I didn't do what has the space and time to do right now. I was so in a frantic mode of like, Dad needs to go to rehab or we're going to be dealing with a second funeral like any day now. Like it was like let's prevent my parents from killing themselves, or like let's prevent some further tragedies from happening. And it was just a lot of that kind of stuff. And I was in a marriage with somebody who was like had alcohol problems, so it was like a lot of managing her, taking care.
Yeah,
I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we were just in a situation where, like, for the first time I was just like empty. It was just like, oh, what the fuck is going on? What is life? Like, is this all it is? You fucking love something, then you lose it, and yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And enjoy it.
Fucking be here now. Just
be here now.
Over and over, and it's like, oh man, we've been doing this stuff for years and practicing, but just all that stuff, particularly like the Buddhism, it's just like, fuck, dude, like, yeah, like there's no escape.
No.
Yeah, guess what? Like, this really is all it is. Like, yeah, I guess this is it, man.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out of here alive. Like, that's what it is. And thankfully we can traverse the layers and whatnot, but you still come right back to, you're right here. You got to deal with that human stuff.
Yeah.
Your stomach's going to get hungry.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to need to drink water. You're going to lose things. And that's just fucking life, no matter what. It's a wild ride.
Well, like what you were saying about not, you're questioning the hero's journey aspect of the grief and that sort of thing. It kind of reminds me of like heartbreak, death of someone you love. Like, it's all also very psychedelic. And with psychedelics, we find like it doesn't do the work for you. It's like this portal of perspective or something, but it's like then your opportunity then is like, how do I work with this?
Yeah.
And I guess that's something that you're learning as you go through the grief portal, or...
Totally. It's the most psychedelic thing that I've been going through, for sure. Like, it's just because all the shit that was in my mind, you know what I mean, that I've been, like, scared of and thinking of or whatever, there it was unfolding right in front of me, you know? But this wasn't like but this one, it's like, oh, yeah, this is it. This really is it. So that kind of goes back to, like, yeah, that's why I felt like the everything, putting her in the ground, all that type of stuff, like honor. Like, there's definitely, there is something to it. But it's just, I don't know anything more psychedelic than death,
Yeah.
It really is interesting, but it's funny too, because now I'm still taking some time. Like I got that changa from my friend.
Oh.
Yeah, I got that changa from my friend.
You want to meet with the elders?
Ooh, I will very, very soon. Because now it's just like, fuck it. I have nothing left to do with, like, I have nothing else to do with the rest of my life except, like, live it. Yeah. Like, this really was a defining thing in my life, and
will always be.
Yeah, and this was the journey that I'll even say that this, like, my mom's situation and just the psychological weight with it has prevented me from going as deep as I know that I could or I should. Yeah. Because I just want to handle this stuff first. Yeah. And
smart.
I don't know if it's smart, actually.
Well, do you want an unnecessary bad trip?
Well, there we go, right? That's really what it is, too,
I mean,
right?
you're tripping. It's like, are you going to take acid and be like, well, let me just throw some mushrooms on top
of
this?
Yeah, that's what it's like.
But it'd be freaking out. And I mean, this is even and it's funny because the years go by, time goes by, but even like with my girlfriend, it was like, hey, there's a certain level of, like, depth here with, like, the psychedelics that, like, I just can't do. Because I know me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want anybody to be a part of that. Like, this will be a crazy one. If I were to, this will be a crazy one. That's one I got to just do in the dark by myself or something like that. But fun doses? Absolutely. But I'm not bringing somebody else along for this ride. And now it's like, fuck it. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I think we have the right mushrooms for you if you want to
try. Yeah, we definitely
They're very happy.
Yeah, they're very happy mushrooms.
But it makes me think of how I thought when you said the breakup thing and you were talking about, like, oh, I faced it, like, a lot later. It reminds me of when we were in Joshua Tree on acid and you, like, really had the experience of presence with Aaron. You know?
Yeah, that was incredible. And it was a high dose for me. It was 2 tabs, and it really took, like, getting away from the stimuli of, like, I was with 2 beautiful women and we're partying and I just went out into the desert by myself and, like, sat there and breathed. And I wasn't really calling for this, but just, like, there was Erin again, like, the feeling, like, the feeling of her still being alive, and, like, just her telling me, like, I'm with you. I've been with you, bro. Like, don't question it. That's it. That movie, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie, Phantom Thread, fucking made me have a baptism of tears because it's like this tight character it's just like he's overdosed on masculine energy the whole movie, and he starts taking mushrooms and like getting sick off them and hallucinating, and at one point his mother who had passed appears to him, and he's like scared, and he's just staring at her, and he says, it's such brilliant writing. All he says is like, "Have you always been here?" And she just like nods yes, and I just started crying like crazy. Like, it was just such a very simple scene that just like was like very psychedelic and strange. It's not shot psychedelic or weird music or anything. It's just a person that's tripping asking their dead mother if they've always been with them, and she assures them, "Sure, yes, I have." And God, that fucking that really hits me. And I had that experience with Aaron in the desert, and it took a lot of tuning things out. And then I come back and I tell my parents that, and they love that. I thought it would freak them out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, she has messages for us if you guys are interested in them. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, we need to change our diet here. Like, Katie has epilepsy and it's out of control. And I'm like, there's things we can do that aren't just doctors and pharmaceuticals and black market drugs that aren't available anymore because they're so poisonous. There's things we could do. And like, they just totally integrated that stuff. And Katie eats so good now, doesn't eat any junk food, drinks water, and like, it literally came as a message from Aaron, and the fact that I delivered it to my family as a message from Aaron, not from my dumb ass who's like, "Oh, I heard a thing on a podcast." But like, no, I'm sorry, I got a message from our girl. Like, you know, if you want, we don't have to do anything about it, but we all just dropped into that, and like the frequency's changed here since then.
It kind of showed, like, they're just, even after the death, you know what I mean, like their existence still like unfolds, and like one of the first things I like told myself was like damn, well, like I can't wait to see how she continues to show up for me, like in these little things, like the little, you know, and it's of course it's our own personal synchronicities, but like I had noticed you guys have the Rick Rubin book, The Creative Act, and like I have it too, and I was reading it, and it's so funny, like I bought it. You know, you're always reading, so it's just like, all right, I got it. I want this book. I got a new book, but there's, you know, the stack before it is fucking incomplete still too. But so I'd had it for like maybe 2 months, and then when my mom passed, I just really dived into reading it, because also with my mom passing, it was just like well, damn, like I got a very strong sense that like this isn't even really like my life. Like this is the life she gave me.
Whoa.
Yeah, like it was, and she did a really damn good job of taking care of me and wanting the best things for me. So if I really want to honor her, you know what I mean? Like I can't crash out. No. I can't just like, I have to shoot as far as I can. I really, really want to. There's no reason. There is no lower rock bottom than this. You know what I mean? Like as long as I'm alive, I can do it, you know? So it's just been like trying to, so just reading the book, and like when I finally picked up the book, and like in the very beginning, it's like, it's not even like 5 chapters in, but he has like the little verse that's in there that's like, you know, there are seasons for the whatever. They said that shit at my mom's funeral, you know? And like when I read it, I was just like, okay, it started. Yeah. Like this is this is what the rest of my life is going to be like. Like I get it now.
You woke up and found out you were the eyes of the world.
Yeah.
Heart has its seasons.
Yeah. Oh man, everything. Yeah, so much more meaningful. But yeah, so I feel all the like the cliches ring true. Like I feel guided. I even that's why like I know when it'll be right, and I delve back into the psychedelics. There's nothing to be afraid of. No. There's nothing to like. Whatever it is, as long as I'm alive, I can integrate it. I'll handle it. Like, I think no matter the dose, like, I don't think I'm going to, like, just become a wook, like, traveling wook and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty, like...
You're as wooked out as you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. I like to think...
you know what I mean?
I like to think we all are, you know? Like,
you hold a job.
Oh, man. So I think, like, it'll be really interesting, and it also feels like stepping into that portal. But it's interesting, too, is, like, I don't really feel... And once again, like I have a great dad. I love my dad. But like when he passes, it'll be more like well, you know, like, thanks for your job, man. Like that's my guy. Like, you know,
appreciate
you did a good
service.
Yeah, I appreciate your service. But with mom, it's just like I'm not anyone's baby anymore.
Yeah,
like
right.
I don't now. I feel like an adult because
yeah.
I don't feel like someone's child
Mm-hmm.
anymore, and it's weird.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like it's definitely weird. Like I find myself a 30-year-old man, and it's just weird. Like even put it in this perspective and stuff. But it's like 30-year-old man trying to figure out like what their life is going to be like, and thinking really heavily about family and stuff like that. And like, you know, it really just comes down to the family you create.
Yeah.
At this point for me, that's what the rest of it is. So, you know, I have my friends and all that type of stuff. You know, definitely like relationships would be way more meaningful now, you know, like long-term partners would be way more meaningful now and whatnot. And still like plenty of adventures to go on. So like there is like hero journey elements, you know what I mean? But I don't think all of this was so I could become all these things. I just feel like this is what I'm choosing to do with it. Because I've seen, like, I had a buddy who, a few weeks before my mom had passed, like, his mom had passed.
Oh, damn.
And, you know, I saw him go through it, but, like, yeah, you know, he was fucking drinking all night, one-night stands, all this type of stuff, trying to, go, you know, get through it. And when he found out that my mom had passed, he reached out to me. And, you know, one of the first things he said is like, I was so stupid in the moments after, like completely, you know, and I'm like, hey man, like you can't judge yourself. You know what I mean?
He's probably a lot younger than you, right?
Yeah. He's like 23, 24, which like, yeah, bro, it fucking blows.
Yeah.
Like, it's really young. It's really young. It was me being at my mom's funeral and older relatives or like older family friends, like, you know, looking at me and my younger sister being like, oh, you guys are young, man. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, we are.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I lost my mom at, like, right at, 29 turning into 30. That's pretty young.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's not that, it really isn't that old. But I always knew that, too, because when this stuff first started, and I was younger, like, in my teens, I was like, oh, like, I'm definitely going to go through a lot of fucked up stuff, like, before my friends. But I bet I'll be a sick ass adult after because I'm getting all that stuff out the way, you know, like
totally.
I couldn't imagine, with respect, it's just my perspective now, but like, I couldn't imagine being like making it all the way to like 50 and then being shattered like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my good buddy, he was telling me about, like his grandfather, I think is, you know, starting to show the signs of, you know, decline and stuff like that. And, like, he can see that his mom is not ready. You know what I mean? Like, he can totally see that it just, like, when you can see the grief that hasn't happened yet, like, hit somebody mid-conversation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, just having that, he's like, dude, like, you're turning 30 handling this way better than, like, my 60-year-old mom. You know what I mean? And it's just, and I'm like, everybody goes through it in their own different ways, of course, but that's where it kind of comes back to that, like, the price for this shit, like I not everybody needs.
It's a heavy price.
Yeah. Not everybody needs.
But
this.
it's like a wisdom that can be shared. Like I feel like Sean, almost to a fault at times in my young 20s, he would be so adamant that I was present with him because he had a sister who, as she was passing, was like saying, "Be present with me."
Yeah.
And he got that. She was wise enough at 15 or something to say, hey, turn off the baseball game. Like, let's be here together.
Yeah.
And so Sean gave me that gift she gave Sean that gift, and Sean then gave me that gift of like,
this is where life is. It's right. It's happening right here. It's not up in the skull piece.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, sometimes reading The Power of Now doesn't do it. You just need someone being like, God damn it, Cass, like, where the fuck are you? You have to be here. Like, this is where it's at, and you have to feel the pain of not being here to realize, oh my God, Sean he knows something. He has a wisdom that it took maybe psychedelics for me to fully embrace.
Yeah. Well, in a weird way, like, part of the being on the other side of the high price of wisdom is, like, just like a really stupid tangential one, but, like, I enjoy and can do drugs with Ty and trust. You're not going to freak out. I don't know. It just, this stuff gives you such perspective.
Yeah.
And like, you know, anytime I hear people be like, oh, I'm too scared to take psychedelics, like, this isn't me trying to encourage them. I'm just like, Oh, are you scared of yourself? Because like that's all you're going to just be facing.
Yeah, we had I couldn't understand how he was so calm. We took a really high dose the first time of everything. Everything we've done, taken really high dose the first time, and he just like goes into this Buddha mode. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's like, the worst has already happened to me. Like, what, me dying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it was. I think it was kind of profound, and I don't even know if you meant to say this, but it almost felt like you were saying at the beginning of this conversation, like going through cancer was easier for you because it was you than having to watch your mother suffer.
Yeah.
You know, and that like really rings true to me. I wish I could have been the person in my sister's situation than having to be me.
Yeah, I would trade it.
I would trade it in a heartbeat to just be like, I can handle this. I'll do this. I'll sacrifice myself for this family. And she was just the one, and I would have rather been the one, because oh my God, losing somebody like that is just it's so devastating. It's so devastating. But I'm pretty chill at doing drugs now.
Yeah. There are benefits.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm like, yeah. I mean, the worst I'll get on drugs is like when we take mushrooms, and it feels like there should be some reverence, and people keep just like fucking around or whatever. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm gonna purge when that happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even a conscious thought. I'm just like, oh, Lord, I can't be part of this conversation anymore.
You know, it reminds me, we have a good friend who he's done many ceremonies to fully embody his wizardom. He's a, self-proclaimed wizard, and he is a wizard for sure.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
He's done these, like, ceremonies to become a wizard, and after one of his last, like, I'm ready to become fully the wizard, his mom passed, like, it was kind of...
Yeah.
The price of admission, in a way, in this dance for him to fully embody the wizard.
And he totally had a reaction to it like you. Like, nailed the landing, like stuck the landing. You're like, wow, nice job. You were doing all those flips in the air. I did not think you were going to be able to stick the landing, but you stuck the landing. And she's helping him be more of a wizard than ever.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
It's crazy to say that, because it really, I don't know why that's like a rhythm of a story that like that has to happen for certain people, but it reminds me of like one time when I was helping out like this Buddhist nonprofit stuff, and they were doing like it was over the course of the pandemic. They people were trying to become certified as meditation teachers, right? But they couldn't do the silent retreats, so they did like an online thing, basically. Like
just sit there quietly on Zoom
at home. Exactly, dude. At
You're
home,
kidding me,
yeah,
bro.
it was so funny. They really they did the best they could. Obviously, it's like, hey, like, don't leave your kids starving, you know what I mean? But like, you're not watching TV with your husband or your wife, you know what I mean? Like, just try to keep the container as much as possible. But point being, one time during one of the Dharma talks, this teacher, she was talking about how, she was just really, really, really on the path, you know what I mean? Like, going to the retreats, delving deep into her meditation, all these type of things. And when she went on I think the longest retreat that she was ever doing, there was like a point where like 2 weeks into it, she was just feeling like she was on the mountaintop, and just asking God, like, like, all right, like, I think like I'm ready, you know what I mean? Like, what's the test? Like, what do I have to go through? Or, I'm or almost feeling like, oh, I've mastered it. You know what I mean? Like, wow, like I've made it. And then, shortly after, her retreat got cut short because her mom passed away. And then it was like whoa. That's the admission. Like, here's your actual portal. You know what I mean? Like, here it actually is. And it does, it really does feel like that. Like, you get filled with all these different things that don't leave, and they continue to evolve. And like, I know I'm nowhere. It hasn't even been 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, I know that it's going to keep evolving. Some days it's heavy and random and whatnot, or like I hear certain things, like music always makes me cry now. And oh man, fucking, and it's so weird because before I had a little bit of a hard time, not too hard of a time, but like when they do Knocking on Heaven's Door, right? And they did that in San Francisco. That was my first one that I got.
Wow.
Immediate tears, because they started putting up all the past dead members, like on the screens and stuff. And of course, it was going to be, of course, the last one was going to be fucking Jerry.
Yeah.
And when they were doing that, I was just crying. But of course, it's music, beautiful, you know what I mean? And also, it's like, dude, Bobby's getting up there. Like, it's crazy to hear him sing that song, you know?
It's perfect. That song wasn't meant for a young man to sing.
Yeah, it's
weird that Bob Dylan wrote that like in his 20s. Like, what the fuck? Deal with the devil did that guy make, first of all? But it belongs. Bobby should be singing that right now.
Yeah, it really is like it's a real interesting one. And now, like, I think, since my mom passed, I've probably only listened to it once.
Yeah.
Because I knew, like, even if I just see the name, I'm just like, oh man,
too much.
Not yet. You know what I mean? Not yet.
You'll do that when you miss. Do you think there's a point where you kind of miss the rawness of the grief, or is that a weird thing to say?
Yeah. That song will come back.
Yeah.
To you.
No, absolutely.
And it'll hit hard. It's just like right now it's too potent. Just kind of like taking acid right now might not be the move.
Well, exactly. Like all I've been just and I'm getting pretty close to letting go of weed for a while, because just like I'm not really getting that high.
Yeah.
Like I'm already like I can't get any higher than this right now.
Yeah.
So it just really feels like habit. Like, it's just like really, really habitual. And then also like I really want to fucking be present. I really want to be as present as possible most of the time, you know? So really just weed and nicotine really have been the only thing right now.
Same here, bro.
The snuff and
whatnot. I think we're on the same track.
Yeah.
A little kratom.
Yeah, a little bit of kratom. Right?
Mix that in every now and then.
Yeah, a little bit of the kratom. And but yeah, that's why I feel like when I do psychedelics again, like I definitely want to like fuck it, ceremony style. Yeah. Like I got to go through something. So my good buddy who one day, next time you guys come down to the city, like you guys got to meet him.
Cool.
He's got to come on here. You guys have a great conversation.
Let's do it together.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah. His name is Zach. Love you, Zach. He helps run a ketamine therapy clinic down in the city called Cardea, but it's not like clinic isn't the word for it. It's a space. It's an amazing space. As soon as you walk in, like there's funky, weird paneling on the wall that is mycelium grown, and like the front desk is mycelium and resin glued, and just like it's really cool. The I believe he's the founder owner. Sorry, Randy, if I'm getting it wrong, but he's an artist by trade, and that's funny by trade, but like the place, it literally has like a big like funhouse mirror straight from like one of the old Coney Island attractions and stuff like that, and then like it really is just a space. You go in and there's this really weird, big, like chrome silvery, like it's not a couch, it's just like a weird like stacking layer of cushions that are like spread out and stuff, because they have like group experiences there.
Cool.
And then you have the individual rooms that will have the singing bowls and the gongs and stuff like that. Like it's totally, this is not going to the doctor's office to get like a ketamine infusion or
something. Which sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. They really just hold the space. And yeah, he really helped me out. Really been a really good guy. I've done some experiences there which were totally really, really cool. Like probably the deepest I've gone with ketamine somehow.
Is it
I want to try
intravenous or
no,
nasal?
Yeah, the nasal, right? And they have the pharmacy, you work with them and everything, and then they really just provide the space for you to do your thing. Really deep, and it's definitely his story to tell, but like, yeah, his past life, like crazy addicted to a whole bunch of stuff. Dope, opiates, everything. Iboga was,
that's the one we haven't tried.
That's
just kind of like, let's have that in our back pocket in case I need to scare away some opiate addiction I get.
That's how I feel about it too. Like I definitely like medicinal use only.
Yes,
with that
for
stuff.
that one.
And now he runs a ketamine clinic, and this is what he does. So he had come over, like I had a day of just grieving, just like, hey, like open invite, like people, if you want to like just spend some time with me, like revolving door, come in and out if you can. And he lives down in Jersey, but he came up. I had the Dead playing softly in the background the whole time and everything.
Sweet.
And he brought me some changa that straight from Julian Palmer, the dude who fucking invented it. Yeah, wow. He's got a buddy. She went to Australia, was hanging out with him. He just made a batch, got it, and then she gave some his.
Got a new batch of changa. We call it changa down here. I don't know how changa got started.
Yeah, it's so yeah. I got a nice little bit of it, and it almost feels too like. I probably won't even smoke all of it. Like I'll like keep some of it as like memorabilia almost.
Yeah.
Straight from the dude himself.
Yeah.
But that feels like I'd rather do that than even going to these shows and stuff. Like last night, I had a tiny piece of the mushroom chocolate. Not even, it's just less than a microdose, just a little stimulant boost. But even then, that was like the first anything different. Like I'm not even doing edibles right now or anything because just like who fucking knows?
Yeah, it's a good place to do it because you're held by the music, familiar. It's like
it was fun. It didn't get too weird. Like I was just like, oh, I definitely like. I could feel my face like a little stimulated, but like it was
steal your face.
Yeah,
I was gonna tell you. I didn't want to tell you, but then you offered us some kratom. I'm like, oh, you're into kratom, cool. But I didn't tell you yet. But like I stumbled on, I feel like the best thing for a show that I've ever done, and I did it for Ween at the Capitol Theater, was 4 kratom pills, which is 2 more than I'd normally take, and 4 mushroom microdoses. I was never fully tripping. I was just. It felt like I took Molly.
Yeah.
With really no consequence.
Super
ooh, I nailed it that night. And I got to remember that for future shows because I'm like, that's the,
good combo, yeah.
And you could do it in there.
Yeah.
Like it'll hit you halfway through the first set. You'll be like, oh, I'm fucking flying. By Drums in Space, you're like.
And then they lock into you and just fucking.
Have you ever done ketamine during Drums in Space?
City Field last year, my friend had some cat. We took like.
We saw you at that show.
Yeah, a little bit. But this year I rocked out really with like the kratom and like a little bit of the mushroom chocolates and smoking weed and stuff.
That to me that's like, wow, this is what this was made for. This is perfect for this.
At home though, like couch touring. Oh yeah, I mean this winter alone, like I can't wait to just throw up some of the streams and like that is like yeah. It's
one of the best things we have going.
Yeah.
I think we came along at the perfect time to be deadheads. Really?
There's so much to work through and then so much ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, talk about grief. Because like when I watch I love rewatching the Grateful Dead Long Strange Trip documentary. I can't watch the one where Jerry dies. I cry when I see everyone at Golden Gate Park. Because like, can you imagine being a fucking huge Deadhead when that happened? What the fuck? No, I mean, we look at Jerry and we're like, oh, he was old. He was 52.
Yeah, super young, man.
What the fuck, man?
Super young.
That really must have like tore people's hearts out.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we came along after the scene had grieved.
Yeah. That's in a way, and I hate that I do, but like I think about Bob Weir.
Yeah.
In that way now tough. Too,
Phil.
And it's gonna be Phil, Bob, like fucking dude, just all of them. It's just it's really gonna be like a damn like, thank you.
Yeah,
holy
thank
crap.
you. Talk about thank you for your service.
Yeah, like whoa, what
Bob Dylan.
When Bob Dylan dies, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to handle this. It's going to happen. This is
I don't know. I feel like they get to an age where, like, I wasn't sad when Ram Dass died because it was
He's the one I always think of too.
It wasn't sad. It was like, oh.
Yeah, if there's anybody on this planet who, you know what I mean, who was ready
who
or
got
whatever.
It.
Yeah, who got it. Him.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But John Lennon.
Oh, I get angry when I think about John Lennon.
I do too.
Yeah, but it's yeah.
And then what I think about is his son had to not know his dad and look exactly like him. So it's bizarre. It's crazy. It fucking sucks, man. And talk about losing your parents. Like Paul McCartney and John Lennon both lost their moms young. George Harrison.
Yeah.
Jerry Garcia lost his dad. Watched his dad die. I mean, it's a superpower. It almost would seem offensive if I was telling you this day your mom died or whatever.
Dude, it's funny because you like talking to the people that haven't gone through the experience. Like sometimes I've had to have the caveat, but like I hope I don't sound like a psychopath when I say this right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, yeah, there are certain things, or even especially when it's something that you've been anticipating for so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just don't know what to do with it. But there is like there's in a weird way a lightness that comes with the loss too.
Yeah.
Like and like that sounds real weird to talk about.
No, it sounds almost fucked up, but that was the immediate feeling we all had after Aaron died at 1 p.m. in the hospital. Like, there was a lightness about us. That's what got us home.
Yeah.
If that, it's such grace, and it's from the angels, it's from them to bless you with that, to be able to function. Because, like, it's hard to function.
Is there something about like the relief of someone being sick that?
I think probably plays a big part in both of our stories. Is like, well, they were having a rough go at it here. Really, that was not fun for them. They're at peace now. I'm not. They are.
That's all it is. As much as I wanted, you know what I mean? And just really was like, even like, it's just like, but it was really interesting too. And it is a thing that still does really break my heart, that like, although like my mom's body, you know what I mean? Like that really was the thing, but her spirit, her intellect, all that type of stuff was still so sharp.
Yeah.
Still so sharp, still really penetrative, still silly, you know what I mean?
Wow.
With like, even part of that, like with my birthday that just passed, like I thought it was going to be more fucked up. And sometimes like even right now, like I'm wondering, is it just like I think I get it, you know what I mean? But I'm still having certain feelings that that I'm like, you know, is it just because I think I should be feeling this way? You know what I mean? Like, should I feel like this really sucks, my first birthday without my mom? You know what I mean? Like, it does. I feel it because every time, like, for my birthday, I know first thing in the morning, I'd get a phone call from her.
Yeah.
And from the time I pick it up, she's, like, singing in this ridiculous bravado voice, you know, happy birthday and stuff. And I can hear it in my head.
Yeah, right.
I can hear her voice. It's not even like my voice doing, like, I can hear her crystal clear doing it. So it was kind of okay.
Yeah.
It was totally okay. It was like, it wasn't anything too crazy. It was weird. Like the holidays, they all suck and they're kind of like, you know, it's just flavored differently.
Yeah.
But death is a feature, not a bug. Like, it's okay. It's totally okay.
Yeah. Well, we treat it like a bug.
Yeah. Where everyone's all fucked up about it and stuff. It's
to the point where like we're so scared of death that we just disappear the elderly population in our society.
Oh my God,
you just don't know about them. You don't know where they are. You don't know what they're doing. Most of the time, their family don't know where they are or what they're doing. Like, oh yeah, we threw her in a home fucking 10 years ago. It's like that person. The veil is so thin. You know how valuable they are in terms of wisdom.
Yeah.
And just teaching you things and learning your family history and learning about the cycle of life through watching that happen. But we're just so in avoidance mode because, I don't know, I think like if we weren't and people were actually processing the feelings as they were coming, we couldn't have capitalism functioning the way it does.
Oh, no
It
way.
couldn't be endless growth. It would be like, it would literally be us taking a breath and being like, hey, that quarantine was kind of crazy for everyone. Let's take a second. Let's fucking give everyone a couple months off.
Sean for president.
No, there would be more cycles and
mandatory in-breath.
Yeah, seriously, mandatory in-breath, dude. And it's like especially with something I've been thinking about too, especially related to like the whole family thing and that kind of stuff, is that like, you know, life is so large, right? It's fucking limitless. What we could do is limitless, and we're born in a really particular time where like we can do shit like this and this can reach people and stuff like that. But like our individual lives are pretty small. Yeah. They're really, really small. You only like, depending, there are outliers, right? Like if you're like a celebrity or something like that, you might actually come across millions of faces in your lifetime, but like we don't really run through that many people. There's only a certain capacity for like close relationships that we can have and things like that. So it really starts to become super apparent that like, yeah, like that family stuff, like that's really all there is. You know what I mean? Like really lock that down, take care of it, grow it, do whatever. But like that's your home, whatever home is.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? You go out, you do your adventures, you do your service, your work to the world. But this is where you live. This is where you sleep. You know, this in some way with these are the relationships that when you die, this is what's going to be going on. You know what I mean? Like who are the people that are going to be doing your life insurance shit afterwards and whatnot? Like
I know. Yeah.
You might want to try to like be on good terms with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe start today.
Maybe try to, you know, everyone's shit is dependent, but if you've got the opportunity, fix that shit up. You know what I mean?
That's really great advice.
It's the inner work. It's the whole. You know, if you think you're enlightened, go home for the holidays. Like just all of that. That is where the real self growth and the real work is, which is why it's so hard.
When you simulate death, like we did with like Toad or ayahuasca, but like Toad very particularly is such a death simulation that it felt like when I came back, like I'd been given a second chance. And the first order of business, clean up your fucking messes, dude. Yeah. And I really did. I tried. Yeah. I got like a 50% response rate. Yeah. I sent out like 10 emails. I got like 5 solid responses that led to friendships that I'm like, thank fucking God I simulated death. Yeah. Had regrets and addressed it. Because now me and this person are tighter than ever. Yeah. And we can't even remember what we were fighting about to begin with.
I have, there's definitely like, I've got a little list in my back pocket too. Just like like, yeah, I haven't written that email yet.
Yeah.
But it's really on my mind that, like, I really should. And it's nothing crazy. It doesn't, but wherever, even instances where, okay, yeah, I was directly responsible for, like, this getting weird and wonky or whatever. And then even the ones where it's like, there was a huge misunderstanding here, but I just kind of left it alone. And I just left what it was. Like, yeah, I have some texts and some emails. Messes. Yeah,
I was trying to, like, I was contacting people. I was like, objectively, I was in the right here. You tried suing me. You know what I mean? Like, and I resisted. And I'm apologizing to you for whatever I did to, like, have long-lasting feelings of anger towards each other.
Yeah.
You don't hear back from that person. They probably just called their lawyer or whatever.
Yeah, no, I've got one too where it's like, well, not it's too heavy as suing, but, like, I had a good buddy, and, like, I don't know, some weird stuff was going on, and he, I think I was being, like, pretty cordial to his ex-girlfriend at the time, and, like,
I remember
really,
this. I know this story.
Still haven't talked to that dude, you know what I mean?
Really?
But it's on my mind now to be like, hey, man, like, and it's not even about me, but, like, I went through a lot of shit, and, like, I don't even know why we stopped talking to each other, or what really, I don't know what it was for you.
I meant no disrespect.
I mean? Yeah, I meant no disrespect.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like, well,
I wasn't trying to mac.
There was no way that it could even be taken out. Like, it was just literally just being like, hope you're doing well or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to openly be like, oh, burn and die, bitch.
He might need his anger to subside towards her before, you know.
That's
what I mean?
really was what
the boys can work it out. It's
that's really even if I had, like, my best friend, and let's say even something as bad as, like, his whatever, his girlfriend could do something crazy, like, me to her, I'd never be like, oh, you're a fucking scummy bitch. You know what I mean? I'd just be like, I'm just not gonna talk to you.
Yeah,
like I would.
yes,
So. I chose to just be like, oh, well, do your thing.
Yeah.
And he, flipped a little bit, and I'm just like, hey, man, like, I think we were pretty cool friends before all that shit, and I don't think that was enough.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder of how touchy that territory is.
It really is. It really is. And shout out to my boy Connor,
he's always had your back.
He's just always had my back. Like, you know what I mean? He'll be like, hey, I know you just broke up with this girl, but she's calling me up, and I'm like, she's playing games. He's like, oh, I'm not fucking doing it, bro. Like, he's so loyal. And I like, as fucking lame as that seems and low frequency sometimes, just knowing you have people out there.
Yeah.
That
no,
it's like,
it
fuck
is.
yeah, bro.
No, it is. Like, with what I'm going through right now with my ex-girlfriend, like, I've had to let her know specifically, like, hey, like, don't worry, like, this whole huge family social circle thing that I have going on, like, they don't, like, nobody hates you, you know what I mean? But
don't fuck with them.
Very important.
They're kind of on standby. Like, I think it's
standing by but standing down.
Yeah. When I give the word,
yes,
it might be
the cavalry's coming. So just tread lightly.
Yeah, let's just tread lightly here. Like, don't worry. Like nobody actively dislikes you, but there's a question mark right now.
Well, that's how I know it was real love, because if it's not, you immediately, your body just trashes this person to everyone you know, so you can't take them back. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a protection mechanism.
I would say
she's a bitch.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I would say, and even pretty, like, respectfully, like, on both of our ends, I don't think there are people that are like, oh, well, you know what? Like, you're better off with that. You know what I mean? It's really just been like, oh, fuck, dude. Like, really?
I know.
How the hell? Really? And it's like, all right, well.
She's a fool.
Dude, and it would hurt you if they were doing
back.
that. Like, she was a bitch anyway. I wanted to tell you. Like,
never do that. Like
never do that to somebody who's going through something. Because even if they hate them in that moment, they're going to be like, why are you saying that to me?
Yeah. Don't do that.
I've had it happen a little bit.
I was with them for years. Like, don't say that. Don't trash my life.
Yeah.
It sometimes feels a little good. A little good.
Well,
I've had it where I talk shit and then they start talking shit and I'm like, this is a bridge too far. Let's show.
Oh man, this is a good one actually. It's making me like, because I did actually have that experience with one of my friends recently, and like this actually, I don't know if you guys know many people that went through it too, but like this end of summer, like whatever, I think Venus was in retrograde or something, but like bunch of relationships ending in like the August to September area.
Yeah.
But this one was crazy. A really good buddy of mine. So he'd been dating this girl for like 2 years, and I know they were like kind of going through like a little bit of a rough patch or whatever. But not like he was trying to figure her shit out. She was trying to figure her shit out. Not like interpersonal rough patch, but like, like if a person is depressed or whatever, that's their journey. You know what I mean? And we just try to care for each other. And I've definitely had a relationship before where like you kind of just realize like, you know, your love that you can give is not enough for what a person might need and what they have to go through and their own.
You got to set them free.
They have to go through their thing.
Yeah.
You know, and so with this one though, my buddy's girlfriend got caught up in a cult, basically.
Whoa.
Yeah, like actual, and it's just weird because it was like textbook.
Twin
Whatever.
flames.
Was it Twin Flame?
No.
It's our favorite
really
current cult.
It was so weird. It was like this. There's a monastery somewhere up in Canada, I guess.
Oh wow.
And the weird thing was that so yeah, I mean, I guess she was going through her own dark night of the soul type of stuff, and this was like last resort, like I guess for them, like hey, go to this monastery, for a few months, get your shit together, you know what I mean? And they took up their friend's recommendation, who was a dude, so vastly different experience, I suppose.
Totally,
right?
Totally.
So this guy thought it was fine.
Like no one was ogling me or trying to fuck me or anything. It wasn't weird at all.
Right? So she went up. And I remember like when he didn't give me the full details, right? But he just told me that like this weird stuff was going on. I remember we finally got on the phone and he was like, okay, before I tell you this story, Ty, how do you feel about gurus? And I was like, dude, no way. And he's like, yes way. Yeah, Ty. I was like, dude, no fucking way. All right, tell me. I can't believe this. All right, what's going on, man? Yeah, like she fell in love with the guru, and it was real.
It's like falling in love with a bartender.
It's crazy.
That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut.
That's we won't even expand on that one. But
oh my gosh, I can't wait to clip that one up. Yeah, just real. And I mean, it's like, I can't believe when we were going through the details, and I looked it up, and like I see the dude. It's like, you know, it might be different if it was like, you know, maybe like dude in like his 40s, 50s, maybe like Christ-like type thing. But like, no, this was like 75-year-old dude. Like, what? I don't even know how he's still able to do this shit, man. And
Blue Chew.
Crazy.
They're not a sponsor yet.
Definitely. He was, definitely was on a whole bunch of whatever because like, but like in very typical where like, you know, it went along in stages like, no, this cannot happen. You know what I mean? It would fuck with your whole thing. You know what I mean? So very gradually like, oh, well, you know, maybe, you know what I mean? And then to full blown like, yes, sleeping with me will definitely help your awakening. You know what I mean? And it just wow. Whatever. So he's been going through it, but also I was like, well, it helped me put things in my perspective because I was just like, hey man, all right, you know what?
At least you're not going through that.
Like me and her right now, like, you know, it's not bad terms, nothing like that, but like I didn't lose my girlfriend to a fucking cult. Like, how do you come back from that one, dude?
Talk about
like,
getting cucked.
Yeah, that's like like that's a really, but also in that sense, I was like, hey man, like, don't go crazy with the self-reflection on this one because like this was not your fault, man. Like, unless you were to like lose a second girl to a cult, then you can like look at yourself and be like,
what is it about me?
Yeah, then, but like right now, like,
no, you lost her to a powerful, manipulative motherfucker who probably has like gray hair and a beard and like looks.
Yeah, and everybody
smart.
Wants to fuck God. You know what I mean? So
weird.
it's like the next best thing.
And also with part of it was just in respect to her own journey, like she wanted to get swept up in something, you know?
Absolutely.
And also that is where I was like, hey, you know, like that's where I told him, I was like, this actually is a pretty good experience for you to kind of be like, dude, like you really did dodge a bullet.
Yeah, this girl's a dope.
Yeah. You dodged a bullet because if like she would have just taken you to a very bad place because if she is putting her faith in the idea that a person could shift like her fundamental reality and make things okay, like then that's not someone you want to be with. Like they have they have a whole heap of lessons that they need to go through that it probably would have been way worse for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? To try to accommodate that type of shit.
Fuck.
You know, and
it would have happened piecemeal over decades and it'd been a nightmare of a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Like
this just burned it out. This guru came and burned it out.
So crazy. And it was very like, you know, she was like openly telling him this stuff and he's just like, well, you know, this is fucking done. Obviously, you know, and her almost being like,
never again.
Yeah, never. He's funny now. He's almost he's like, I don't think I want to date a girl who meditates or isn't any of that shit. I was like, you know what?
We've seen this.
You know, I'm like, you know what, dude? Yeah, maybe you should like get someone who's like really like get someone talk to certain people that are like physical and stuff. You know what I mean? Like really,
if
like
I was single, I'd be hanging out in yoga studios.
Yeah.
Like just somebody who's more just like about an embodied practice.
Exactly. Yeah.
know,
Go find like a track runner or
Yeah.
something like someone who has like athletic things going on, and they're not just trying
On
to
the
like
crystal chick.
We
Yeah.
call them sometimes we call them crystal bitches.
Yeah.
Our friend Joey started this.
I came up with the term, but like
Okay.
but he dated a crystal bitch, and it fucked him up, man.
Yeah.
Really turned him off to white girls in general.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't just like no more crystal bitches. He's like no more white girls.
Yeah,
like
it's
this
funny,
I'm not
dude.
even fucking around with this anymore. They're crazy. And the way they do it is so like with a smile on their face. They'll just cheat on you.
Yeah, it's
and
oh my God.
justify it somehow or like it's a crazy thing, and then hide behind spirituality and use spirituality to justify just fucking toxic behavior. And
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, I definitely would you got to avoid those type of things. But that's all along the path and whatnot. And
yeah.
it's funny too, because in this last relationship I was in, like that, like when we had first met, like she totally thought she was a crystal bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like not for nothing, I was like, let me show you what love is.
Yeah.
And like,
And magnesium.
yeah,
And that's also not to knock people who believe in the power of crystals. Like I do believe in the power. I'll just say,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the umbrella term for very.
It's looking for like
when people say deadheads, they're talking about something other than what we're doing.
it's
I
like
think.
it's looking for the it's like looking for the shortcut in a way.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not an umbrella thing, but there's a certain. It's like it becomes a personality trait rather than a true devotion. It's like, oh, what's my hack? It's homeopathic. It's essential oils. It's like it's not seeing the whole picture.
It's more like an
maybe.
aesthetic. Like I would
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
it's really just the aesthetic, and
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, you're really into all these type of things, but like, yeah, you'll cheat on people or you'll do whatever, and then it's just like justified.
Whenever
by
you find one of these people on Instagram, scroll back, and if they weren't savvy enough to like delete their old pictures, it's like, oh, you were a club slut, and you tried Molly one night, and now you're doing this thing.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like
And
an
the only reason
identity
you're doing it is because
trend.
other people
Yeah.
have paved the path for this to be a viable thing.
yeah,
Oh, I mean, young girls in their 20s got to do weird shit. They got to
course.
figure it out.
Young
you
men
know?
definitely do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people, and you'll see it.
Crystals are probably like the least harming. Like crystals over alcohol, I'll have that shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's a pretty good shirt.
I'll take that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The lesser of two evils. No, I'm kidding. Crystals are great. It's just the aesthetic. Yeah, they're part of an aesthetic that lends itself to a certain type of person that I think in their 20s being deluded on that level,
Yeah.
like you're going to hurt people in relationships. And that's what I've seen.
Well, you're gonna also believe people who might not be fully in their integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those crystals are like sending up a flag of surrender to grifters and fucking weird perverts.
That is really what it is too. It's just it is. There's a real lack of discernment with all the like light and love shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's really what it is. But
Mhm.
I would even say like a big part of, I would say like anybody's basis in their spirituality is discernment. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like figuring out. That used to be my biggest obsession, was figuring out what's real. Like what
Yeah.
is actually real, you know? And yeah, a lot of that stuff isn't. Some of it is, like definitely integrate a bunch of it and whatnot. But like, I feel like if it's, because of whatever transits are happening in the sky today, like you looking to that before like having the hard conversation with your partner, you know what I mean? Like there's,
Bro.
Well, because also, yeah, exactly. It's like your ego interprets that, so you're like, oh, this is because you're a Sagittarius or whatever, and it's like there's a lot of things going on with me right now to deduce it to one particular astrology reading that you went through that person's ego to be channeled. You know what I mean? It's just like it's a house of mirrors of like ego channeling of astrology, and that doesn't mean there's not truth and stuff and value in it, but it's also like, I don't know. You miss the deeper
you
presence.
encapsulated it perfectly. I've been struggling to find those words forever, and I'm like, astrology is awesome and I love it, but a crazy astrology person being close to them it can be a little fraught with fucking. I knew you were gonna do that. I knew you were gonna say it. Of course you're acting like that. Yeah, and I'm
It's like know-it-all.
Well, where's my
yeah.
human quality? Yeah, it comes with a know-it-all type of vibe, and I'm like, Yeah, where's the spontaneity and adventure and just like
the opportunity for
I
me
need to just
surprise
talk to you about real fucking shit that you're doing in this life, not fucking what's going on in the stars right now.
Yeah, you're actually doing the things like that's you know, and it is just it's a lot of spiritual bypassing is possible. But yeah, it's all part of the just being a human and this really weird ride that we're all on and everything. And in these last few months, it's the most I've felt like just like, oh fuck, dude, like I'm a thing that's alive on this rock in space and so much more. But really, like, forget these constructs, forget like my representation of myself in society. Like, I just feel like a being.
A point of awareness.
Just a point of awareness that is grappling with like loss and grief and stuff, and like it feels like these are some of the most important things to go through, you know. So I'm trying to do it cleanly and kind of take care of myself, whatever that looks like now. I'm trying to like figure that out because it's, you know, I had to go through the cycles of like, oh fuck, like, all right, am I getting enough calories in a day again? You know what I mean? Like I definitely like I lost weight and just like the weird cycles of thoughts and blah blah blah, and just really doing what I like, coming up here to see Bobby and whatnot, and like all the little, like I told you earlier, all the little synchronicities that were happening, even down to like I had a GA ticket for last night. My buddies got balcony tickets. I just went up to the balcony with them, and like all along the way, like got into the Capitol. I was supposed to get the wristband for GA, and like I heard it. I had no intention, like I knew I was going to like sneak upstairs, but I had no intention of like not going through the regular process, right? So I remember like I kind of walked a little too much, and then I turned because I was like, oh, wristband. I turned and the guy was like, oh, wristband. And then another dude next to me was like, no, he goes upstairs. And I was like, I'm just going to go upstairs. We found the seats sitting, and it's like, all right, yeah, we'll just wait until
whenever these people come, I'll have to go.
Yeah, you know, we'll just wait. So we're sitting in the 3 seats. There was one empty to me. And then this family comes and they take the next 3 seats. So it's, family, empty seat, me, and then the actual 2 seats that my buddies got. And I leaned to my buddy and I was like, oh, you know what? We're probably going to have to end up shifting because if these 2 seats are vacant, it's probably like a couple at least, right? So like, fuck, they're probably going to want these seats. And then the lady in the family next to me, she's just like, oh, yeah, like we had invited a friend, but I don't think she's going to make it. Like that's her seat. And I was like, oh, cool.
Fucking
I guess,
awesome.
you know, and then just.
And they had the best spot. Like they were up in
balcony
the center. That's where we want to sit at the Capitol. Like that's
so
the
nice.
spot.
This was awesome. So
and this is a sold out show. It's not like, oh, there's an empty seat here. You know, like it's crazy that there was an empty seat in that show last night.
It was really, really crazy.
Should we try to go tonight?
I mean, Ty's like,
this
is my birthday. It's, you know, like I'm like, we'll take a look after this and see if it's in our price range.
Yeah, my friends were asking me if you guys would come, and I was like, yeah, I'm low key. I'm gonna like try to like, come on, guys, let's do it.
We've done much more spontaneous.
Last time we looked at the prices, we're like, we can't justify this, but
I know Saturday, but I think like we'll see. I don't know. We could take.
You
a
never
look
know.
At it
you never know.
Well, this was fucking awesome. I could keep talking to you. It's crazy when I was like, oh, we should have Ty on. I was like, I need to pick his brain about all things minerals, chemicals, inputs, and whatever. And like, I really do want to do that podcast with you one of these days.
We'll do one for sure.
But yeah, I want you to like brush up on like magnesium and that kind of shit, and just be able to tell me some stuff because I think getting behind the control panels the way you have is like really the goal.
It helps a lot, and definitely next time too. Like, but I've already seen it being here, like the light situation and everything like that. The red lights at night, like really, dude, so awesome to meet your dad. Like, holy shit, I didn't really like.
You met him at a weird moment where he's trying to quit smoking, and he's just very like.
No, it's still so awesome, but just like what I was saying earlier, like stuff with the sun and like circadian rhythm and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, man, that big fireball god in the sky that literally controls everything, like
follow that.
There's it's way more than just being able to see, you know what I mean? Like it's really a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, thank you for, you know, immediately like when you reached out, I was really just like taken aback by like the generosity. I don't want to say taken aback because I was just like, it's fucking Sean and Cass, but like thank you for immediately being like, hey man, like if you want to talk about your mom or whatever, like please do this. This is the place to do it. And and like luckily I feel like it was pretty, held my shit together. Like it feels good. You know what I mean?
Man.
It feels integrated.
I was crying.
Yeah.
I looked down at the thing. I'm like, it's 18 minutes in and I'm fucking crying. What is this going to be?
But yeah, no, and also like the drive here is not bad. And
No, you should be coming up more often, dude.
And I definitely will. If it's possible,
Hell
I totally will be. And,
if you want people to find you, how should they find you? Or if you don't, I don't care.
Yeah, no, right now I'm still like I'm back on Twitter. The handle is Myconautic, so it's MyConautic.
One of the best follows on Twitter.
Yeah.
if I got that app again, I would only follow you.
So and just for right now, I'm just when it comes up, it comes up. But it was for me like grieving publicly like that too, and just going through the motions. So it's just like
powerful.
whatever. Yeah, like it's because there's and this is why I wanted to have this conversation, and it's the conversation I've been having with people. We should all talk about these things way more because we all are going to go through it.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how you can help someone. You know what I mean? And when I was grieving and going through like hanging out at the kava bar with like I spent more time with like this community than I did like my day one homies and stuff because it was just different.
Yeah.
And these are people who like, I don't know their stories, right? I know all my friends' stories. I know what they've been through. Shit, I'm one of the only ones that are going through this, right?
Yeah.
And to hear them open up and share their grief with me and everything like that, I could feel that both parties were getting something out of it.
That's why this is valuable. Like this is such a powerful transmission that you came on here and just spoke from the heart about all this stuff.
Thank you so much, Ty.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we have patreon.com/churchofchill. There's discounts for all of our new merch. Ty's rocking the new T-shirt. Buy our T-shirts, our hoodies, and we have beanies. And also we have a dope bonus episode on there with Noah Lampert called Noah is Not a Cuck. And Ty is not a cuck, too, we found out. I think it's something we have to establish with our male guests. We're not kink shaming in any way, but we're just saying they're not cucks.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's assuming that you are nowadays, so you just have to be
Yeah,
clear.
you just have to set the record straight.
Gotta set the record straight.
Yeah, so patreon.com/churchofchill. Thanks, y'all. Peace, love, and magic.
Thanks, guys.
Sean is not a cuck.